Cinema iPod. It's episode 190. We've moved into a new numerical category. We're out of the 180s. And we got Eric, Travis, and myself, and a very special guest. Hi. Someday there'll be words. But for now, we're here just to talk about film. We're going to focus on Boyz and the Hood, which I always want to get the titles right, very literally. And when they purposely change the lettering, I got to make sure I get that right. I didn't know if it was an apostrophe N or just N, but it's Boyz and the Hood, and it's a 1991 film directed by John Singleton, starring a bunch of people we'll talk about here shortly. Travis, did you focus on the title for as long as I did?
I don't think so. Boyz and the Hood. It seems like it should have an apostrophe, but it also seems like it shouldn't have a Z. I don't know. That's fine.
Oh, man. I got a lot to talk about with that movie here. Travis, it's Saturday afternoon, and you're having a lovely day.
So far, been a busy morning of podcast stuff so far. But yeah, it's going good. How you doing?
Not too shabby. Nice little Saturday, you know?
Right,
hey, it's literally Saturday. All right.
Nice little Saturday. How you doing, Eric?
It isn't. Yeah,
Yeah, I spent the morning, went down a Elia Kazan rabbit hole because I stumbled upon that YouTube clip where YouTube famously altered the audio of his honorary Oscar speech because, like, he got booed fairly predominantly when he went to accept the award because of his, his involvement in McCarthyism. Right. And they replaced the audio in the YouTube clip, so it's like unanimous applause and like generous applause, and I'm like, this ain't right. So yeah, I went down a big rabbit hole and watched like half of a doc on the dude to try to make my own opinion. That's a complicated matter.
But I don't know why. I've really made a confusion in my brain with Elia Kazan, and then there's like that director with some type of Elia, maybe Ella. She's old school. They're both old timey people. I don't know. I've mixed them up in my head. I'll have to think about that one. But that is a complicated time in our history. It's a difficult time. We might look back. It's going to be interesting. The cancel culture era. We might look back with some McCarthyism type glasses and be like, wow, maybe some of it was a little too extreme. How about that?
Maybe, but at least it's not the federal government having congressional hearings on television accusing people of having ideas that they don't like. It's not as bad as that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you talk to certain people who've been canceled unfairly, they might feel otherwise. But
again, like this idea of people being canceled, like I don't know why this irks you so much. Like these people.
Why does it irk me? I didn't say it irked me first off.
Well, I mean, you bring it up a lot. Like
you said you softened on the whole cancel culture last week. You said you're reconsidering and recontextualizing this whole philosophy that people should be canceled and it's over and they need to leave the planet.
I don't disagree with that statement. Yeah, that's true.
Right, and I followed up in our text thread. I was saying that like we don't owe these people anything. They're performers. It's not like they're being murdered.
But those were about Matt Lauer. I mean, fuck that guy. That's different. This is too broad. Again, this is what happens with these conversations. We're talking too broadly, and I hate that more than anything. So we talk about specific cases, then we can go bit by bit. I mean, Harvey Weinstein, he's got his case overturned. That guy's a piece of shit of the highest order. That one's not fake. That one's not absurd. That one was literally in a court of law proven. That's not just some random commentary online, right? And that sucks that there was a technicality that got Weinstein to have a second trial here. Hopefully he'll just be found guilty again, but I don't know. Maybe that won't happen.
It's funny to me that we're having this conversation because we're about to talk about a Cuba Gooding Jr. movie, which over 30 women have come forward with accusations about him and at least one man in the recent Diddy fiasco. He's involved with that. And
Diddy.
Cuba does not seem to be canceled. So, I mean,
I don't really see him in movies ever anymore.
He's slowed down. That's for sure.
Snow Dogs?
Snow Dogs. Was that like 2000? Oh, well, it's a wild world, babe. Just remember that. I'll always remember you like a child, girl. That sounds weird. Is that a strange lyric? I'm just realizing that now. I have to reconsider that one now, too. I have to reconsider everything here on Cinema 9, cinema9pod@gmail.com. While I reconsider existence, let's read an email, which you guys could do as well. This one's from Joe, who's a very dedicated Cinema 9 pal. Hi, Joe. This one is titled Bluey. Bluey, Bluey. Hey, guys. If you don't have kids, which is 2/3 of this show, this may not hit the same for you. Okay, so Travis, be prepared to have it not hit the same. I'm preparing myself right now. First off, Bluey is bar none the best kids animated show on TV right now. It's not even close. The first full-length episode of Bluey, The Sign, came out last week, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I teared up at the end. Then we watched it again with my daughter's grandma, and it happened again. I'm a softie. Lock it in, Govier. There you go, Joe. Cheers, Joe. Oh. Eric, do you have any experience with Bluey?
Yeah, I gave it a shot. It was kind of obnoxious. It's tricky. It's tough because you're gonna have to watch the same show over and over and over and over again, and it's all about tolerance. Like, what can you watch consistently over and over again?
Not much.
Not much. In fact, I found that, like, I was looking back at the Pixar canon because I watched the Pixar movies constantly, and as I hear in 2024, there's only one that I never get sick of, like, ever. I could watch it any time, and it's kind of a surprising pick. Any thoughts?
It's not Coco?
No, not Coco. I'm sick of that. It's over.
The Good Dinosaur.
No, but I do like that, and I think it's one of the more underrated Pixar films. Monsters University is I think my favorite. It's like, I don't know, there's just a lot stuffed into it. It's really I don't know. It's like a fun, like, 80s college movie, but like as a Pixar movie. It's just, I never get sick of it. I can't explain it. But as for Bluey, no. I can sit there and watch Cocomelon and Blippi. This fucking guy Blippi, I almost shot my TV Elvis style when this first came on because I could not tolerate this guy. But I kind of he grew on me. Now I like him. So it's you can't tell, man.
I was just laughing because you dismissed Joe's feelings so quickly on Bluey. It was funny.
Yeah, awful.
Joe had a tender moment twice watching Bluey. I've never seen Monsters University. I was going to say that's, if we're talking Pixar films, that's Travis's territory more than mine.
I saw that in theaters.
No big deal. Well, let's get into the quarantine viewing picks here for Cinema 9 Pod. Travis, what have you been enjoying or maybe regretting this week?
In terms of regret, I actually watched 2 full movies, one being Boyz n the Hood, the other being, why they didn't just call it One Love. I don't know. It's called Bob Marley, One Love. And man, I was excited. I really wanted to like this movie, but it's so flat. It's so lifeless. Like, this is one of the most larger than life people ever. And it's not the performance. I actually think that Kingsley Ben, what's his name? Kingsley Ben Alfada or something like that. He did a good job. Kadir. Anyways, he did a good job. I think he was good casting, but, like, I'll tell you what, there's one thing that handled really well is that it really centralized the importance of religion in Bob Marley's life. Like, he was a Rastafari, and that was, like, what he was all about. And they did ground it really well in that. But if you're interested in seeing something about Bob Marley, just watch the 2012 documentary Marley. I think it is a lot more rewarding. I also finished the other shows I was watching. So I finished Fallout Season 1, which so much fun. I strongly recommend. If you like sci-fi stuff, I never played the game in my life. I knew fuck all about the game. Something about dog meat and Nuka-Cola. That's like all I knew. And you can go in perfectly blind. It's a really fun, weird show with a lot of different elements, and you don't get bored watching it at all. Really hard not to just blow through all 8 episodes like in one weekend, pretty much. And then Shogun finished up.
Ooh.
Yep. The episode 10 dropped on Wednesday, and I know that some people it dropped down. It was like a 9.3 on IMDb. It dropped down to like an 8.9, which is still really high. But I think that some people were unhappy with the series finale. I was really happy with it. I thought it was great. I thought it was a really fitting end for the show. It's just such an unconventional show. It's not interested in trying to do what you think like an epic should do. Like, it's not it's not like, oh, you think there should be like giant fucking battles and stuff. Like, no, we're not doing that. It's all like really understated. and it's much more of like an intimate and personal story about these characters. I really can't recommend it enough. It's going to win all kinds of awards, Golden Globes and Emmys and stuff. I'm sure of it.
I got a show that's rated higher than that I'm going to talk about. Well, I'll talk about it shortly.
Well, I'm done.
Dang.
Eric, what do you got, buddy?
A lot of movies, man. The kid's been sick, so I've been trapped at home in my basement watching a lot of movies, and I'm happy about that. For the most part. Abandon is this like horror movie starring Emma Roberts, who I hit play immediately. I watch her do laundry, no questions asked. But the movie's awful. Michael Shannon pops in for like he must have owed somebody a favor because the movie's just really bland, typical, formulaic. Other than that, I had some great luck, man. After I watched Boyz in the Hood, the suggestions popped up, and I hit play on 187. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like it's trying way too hard. It's trying really hard to get into the zeitgeist. So there's definitely a lot of style over substance, but like this is strong filmmaking. This is fucking Kevin Reynolds, who like directed all like the worst Kevin Costner action movies. But he delivers here, man. Like it's got something to say. Like, you know me, I read the description. A teacher goes into the inner city and has to. This is like my bag. Like I say this over and over again. Anytime. These are my favorites. Anytime that teacher's got to go in there and hit the books and tell them that Shakespeare is rap too, and they all get happy, they're the best. But this one turns the tables in a great way that I didn't expect. Check it out on Tubi, man, if it's been a while.
It's off the wall.
Yeah, it's fun. Dude, what else I watched? Late Night with the Devil. I got a Shudder subscription just to check in because I've been hearing everything. I've been waiting forever. Finally, shit, let me open up another window so I can cancel that subscription. All right, there we go. Canceled.
What'd you think of it?
I was let down. I was frustrated. I was frustrated because this would have been like a great 40-minute Tales from the Crypt or Creep Show episode. Great 40-minute episode. But it's stretched. It's stretched so thin, and it's filled with a lot of stuff
90 minutes before. It's got to be like feature length. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it is. But like I've seen this exorcism a million times, and like the most of it was just corny. It was just so corny, and it felt like a first draft script to me. So I was let down a little bit. Like I get it, the gimmick worked, but like I needed a little more. And I thought that it could have used a polish and gave me a little more.
That's how I
felt. So I applauded it for what it was.
Yeah.
I kept the party going on Shudder with When Evil Lurks. I've been hearing about this Argentinian horror movie all year. They said it was the best horror movie in a long time. It's fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome. If you got Shudder, you got to get on this immediately because this is fantastic. It takes the Possession movie into a different, like with the devil. It just did the same thing. This takes it into a different direction, one that I didn't expect and one that really worked. It's fucking amazing. I think a good horror movie should, above all things, shock. And a lot of horror movies nowadays, they don't shock. They entertain and they're fun, but they don't shock. This one shocks. So get on this immediately. Other than that, dude. Zone of Interest. I hit play. I finally hit play because it hit max.
How was it?
Whew. I mean, sobering. Entertaining, but this is like an examination. I didn't expect this from Glazer. I expected something a little bit different, but this is just a straight examination, almost, dare I even say, like dramatization you'd see, like intertwining a documentary, but sobering, and I'm glad the story is being told. I thought there's a more interesting way to tell this story, but what we have is sobering. And there was a moment, I never do this. I can always sit back and be like, this is a fucking movie. I never stop and have to take a break, ever. But I had to stop and take a break, and that's a rarity, and that says a lot, man. You talk about provocative cinema, Trainspotting. So yeah, it provokes. So check it out on Max.
I will. It's on my list. Water?
It,
how's that water?
It's delicious. Water is so good.
Yep. Everyone listen to Mike drink water.
Am I eating something or am I just being annoying?
Both.
You be the judge. The only way to know for sure is to watch our YouTube. And you can check out our latest episode. We did The Hunt for Red October. And before that, we did My Best Friend's Wedding. We got them all brewing over there on the YouTube. For me, gentlemen, Oh, yeah, Eric is done now, so.
Society. Watch women do laundry.
That was because he said, watch women do laundry. Yep. So, gentlemen, ladies, everybody else, I really got on a HBO historical retelling, historical drama kick. You know, they got such a backlog. HBO's been around for 40 plus years. I mean, they've done a lot of great original work. So much of it. And not all of it's available from the beginning, but there's some stuff that I had never seen, but I finally watched. Travis, did you ever watch The House of Saddam? The 4-part series they did on there? I've skipped over it so many times, and I finally watched it. I've seen it there for like 10 or 11 years. I'm like, nah, I don't want to watch this. And finally, it clicked in. So I'd say it's it gives you a perspective of the inner workings of Saddam's chaos, I suppose, his cruelty. But there's parts of it missing I would like to have seen more involved, like American connections, for example. It's like they almost like dismissed that entirely, which was weird. So that kind of ruined it for me. It was I think it was done by the BBC or some offshoot of that when this was done, even though it is on HBO. But it was produced by them. It was okay. All right. Then I watched the movie Conspiracy with Stanley Tucci and Kenneth Branagh about the meeting that never took place but did take place.
The Von C conference, yeah.
Yeah. It's excellent.
It is
so good. It's so good because it doesn't try to oversell it. It's very by the book and organized in the most Eichmann way it would be done. Because basically he sets up this meeting that's run by this general above him, played by Kenneth Branagh. And oh man, Colin Firth is really good in that. That's like the first Colin Firth performance I really noticed. If I go back in the backlogs, because I think this was like 2003ish. I could double check that, but
yeah, somewhere around there.
To hear these people speak so frankly about human beings' lives as just laws and people getting pissed and have their egos burnt because their laws are being changed, but they're human beings at stake. It's just wild, man. It could be tough to watch if you can really soak in the emotional awfulness of it. There's nothing bloody or gory about it, but just the matter of fact coldness is so dark. It's hardcore, but it's well done. It's a round table of who's of character actors and guys that you know from here and there. So yeah. It's good. It's really good. And then the one show that I never saw, and I finally watched it. Boy, I am a fool. I didn't try to avoid it. I never got to. I missed it at the time. I was caught up or something. Who knows? But Chernobyl is a goddamn masterpiece. It's one of the greatest miniseries I've ever seen in my life, hands down. If it's calling that a anthology, if you will. It's a one-off. It's a one and done. It's that 4 episodes, I think, 5 maybe. And man, it is so well done. It is like so Soviet Union 80s with the way they were able to find a place that looked kind of like Chernobyl in real life over in Eastern Europe somewhere and recreate it. It's so good. And Jared Harris, Richard's son. I mean, he really crushes it as this scientist who blew the whistle and gave his own life because he was there on the scene. And even, and of course, Stellan Skarsgård being the man. I mean, he's so less Swedish in this one, a little bit more trying to be like a hardcore, cold-ass Soviet, which he pulls off well. He really nails it. He's a great actor. This is a great piece of creation. That is so hardcore. God, it is so good because it's so real too. People who are in flat out denial, who put lies and secrecy above everything else, including blatant science or just basic facts, and people suffered. And who knows how many people actually suffered because of Chernobyl. And to see this guy learn about this asshole who ran the Chernobyl plant, who continues to make these people in the face of full-on radioactive meltdown go out into it and basically give their lives to it, to die in one of the most painful, awful ways I could imagine. It's so well done. It's such a really good, really, really good show, man. It's one of the best things I've ever seen. It really is. It hit me hard. It really did. I'm not kidding.
It's a hard sell.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
I never saw
everything
it.
about it. Never saw it?
I missed it too. I was just living life. You watch Shogun, and I'll watch Chernobyl.
Absolutely. We should definitely do that because I never saw it either. I don't know why. I wasn't trying to be a dick about it, but man, they just now I've overhyped it, so it won't live up to the hype for either one of you guys, probably.
Right.
But the production setup, the making it as authentic looking as possible, and it puts you in a time and place, and it does it in every aspect. And of course, what's her face? She's really good in it too. Emma Watson. What's that woman's name? The one from Punch Drunk Love. I'm mixing her name up right now.
Oh,
Emma Watson.
Is that right?
It is Emma Watson.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Emmas out there. We got Hermione and Emma Roberts. I don't know. I can't keep track.
I thought that was something Morton.
Emily Mortimer?
No, that's someone different. The one from Punch Drunk Love. That's
Elia Kazan?
Zoe Kazan?
We do a show about movies, apparently.
Leon Gonzalez?
Are you looking it up, Mike? I'm looking it up. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, that's funny. Yes, the answer was Emily, not Emma.
Emily Watson. Okay, I knew
That's
there was
what I got wrong.
I knew there was something not quite right.
Yeah, I agreed. It was just that Lee. So yeah, she's great. So check it out. All right, and this is the 7 9 podcast. Eric, Travis, and Mike, connect with us on all your favorite socials, and we'll hang out with you. Probably not, but I mean, we'll try.
Personally?
We're not. Yeah, we're not on all. I mean, we don't check in on any of our socials. Email us.
It's true.
We'll see that.
I went on the Twitter last week. I'm like, oh, this thing's still sitting here. Nobody's really been doing much. So I tried to bring it back to life, but too many cooks. So with that said, it's now time to focus in on my choice for this week. That's right. I have selected Boyz n the Hood, a 1991 film. Ice Cube, Cuba Gooding, as someone mentioned. Of course, Morris Chestnut. Of course, the master, the man himself.
Wow.
Powerhouse, Lawrence Fishburne, yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, a little Angela Bassett in there too.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So, do I start? Is that how this works?
Yeah, you brought it to the table.
Yeah, I always forget that when it's my turn. So, yeah, I brought it to the table. I remember seeing this movie somewhere in the early to mid 90s. No later than 1993, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if we rented it or I saw it on HBO or whatever it was, but I saw the unrated version, the real movie, and I'll never forget it. That first time, man, you see Ricky go down. It's like, I remember I was moved then. It was very moving. It was like, oh my God, this is awful. It was such a shock. And to this day, I remember that first time. You can never see it again for the first time, but I remember that feeling. What about you, Trev?
I know I saw it back in the day. I remember it coming out in theaters and like being all over the news because of like shootings that happened outside the theaters and stuff. So it had like a reputation before I even saw it. Oh. And then I saw it at some point when I would have been probably in high school, but I only saw it like once, maybe twice. And didn't watch it again until last night. So it was almost like watching it for the first time.
Oh, that's awesome, man!
Wow.
I'm kind of envious.
I was not surprised when Ricky got shot because that was telegraphed blatantly throughout. And that bright white shirt he's wearing and shit. I'm like, oh, he's dead. Here he comes. He's got
dreams. He's got dreams. I wonder how he did on that test.
Oh yeah. As soon as it showed up with the football, I'm like, well, he's fucked. As a kid, I'm like, well, this character's gonna die.
Oh, that's unfair.
Sorry to say, but I mean, it just seemed pretty obvious because he was the one that was like trying to get out.
Got 30 plus years of. We'll talk about that part of it. Eric, what about you? You ever seen this movie?
Dude, are you going to take bets on if I saw this in 1991?
No, I know you didn't.
No. Dude, I'd never seen this movie until yesterday. Now, every time at my house when Lawrence Fishburne's on the screen, my wife says, give me the gun tray. And I'm always like, what are you talking about, Andrew? What are you talking about? He's like, what? You don't know? Every single time. No matter what we're watching. Mystic River, give me the gun tray. Phoenix Playhouse, give me the gun tray. So, yeah, I didn't see it. In fact, I know so little about this movie that I always thought that Dynamite Hack cover of Boyz n the Hood was the original song.
Remember that What? Dude,
Yeah, great cover.
That song has disappeared from the face of the earth, but I remember that. We were listening to that a lot, definitely.
Yeah.
What about this?
Yeah.
Is this Bill Pullman?
Tell me you guys didn't think, you hear the sax for the first time in the movie, somebody had to be like, oh, you guys immediately think of Bill Pullman? Lost Highway. It's very serious too, but
Dang.
I made a note about
side by side.
I made a note about this music. Where is it? The melancholy misery of raking leaves.
Yeah, as a try. I timed that. I timed that lawn, and that would have taken 15 minutes.
This movie, okay, so let's bring it up now before we get to the ratings. But the don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood has ruined. It kind of ruined this movie because I watched that movie a lot too and laughed a lot. I mean, and
I saw that more than I've seen this. So like, there's scenes that are being parodied, like the whole Bernie Mac scene in that. Like when that scene happens in this movie, I'm just thinking of Bernie Mac the whole fucking time.
I know. I that's what it kind of sucks because to see this movie before that came out, that didn't exist. So the parodies didn't exist, and there's been a lot more. Like this movie has basically been the template for a lot of people to make their own parodies or satires, or to just build off their own hood movies, if you will, which became a thing. And I think it's unfair to the movie right off the bat. I just want to say that. I think it's unfair to John Singleton. This is a groundbreaking opportunity. This movie came out in the first place. And so I want to say that on the record. That's all.
Yeah, I hear that.
What about the rating on this one?
I'm going to say 7.4.
I think that people may have even forgotten a little bit about the significance here. I'm going to say maybe 6.8.
Yeah, I feel like this is a 8.1. Yeah, I'm going to go 8.1.
Okay.
No, 7.8.
7.8. Okay, you were closest.
Well, 7.4, 8.1. Yeah, it's not an 8, though, so I went over. You win by the Price is Right rules. And it's got a solid 155,000 people have checked in. It's actually not as much as I would have thought. I would have thought this would have been even more, but it's top 1,500 popularity-wise. I don't know. Maybe there's something going on in the culture right now that is making it more relevant. You never know what those TikTokers are up to. They're always making their videos, and, they glom onto things, and then they're gone a couple weeks later. You know how these trends are. Right, guys? You understand?
I've heard of TikTok.
Talking about that guy on Return to Oz?
Yes. Uh-oh, Dorothy, I have slowed down again.
Nice.
Oh, I love that movie. I should bring that one up. I haven't seen it in a long time. Boys on the Hood, 96 from the critics. They love it.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
93 from the crowd. Much higher rating from the audience on this side of things compared to IMDb.
Yeah.
Wonder if we'll get Destin on this one. I don't know. I mean,
Right.
have they reformatted? Uh-oh. Rotten Tomatoes freaked me out. They've changed their style here now, so it's not in the classic setup where I know what to do. What have you done to me? Here, here's something we've never done. Here we go. Here's an audience review. This is from Paul A. Nobody, how many times I see this, I still be wishing and hoping Ricky get away. So there you go. Those are audience reviews. One example of an audience review. As far as critical review.
That's why we stick to the top critics.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. How about Lawrence Ware from the New York Times? Now, this is, he's watching this in recent times. So his first viewing. In essence, this is a post-apocalyptic world. Except what was destroying their landscape wasn't an alien invasion or a virus. It was ravaged by white supremacy.
Okay.
Kate Muir of the Times, United Kingdom. It seems as box fresh as a pair of white high tops and as powerful and as funny today as it was in 1991. Oh, it's funny.
It's funny.
Powerful and funny.
Like you make a point of that in your critique. That's interesting.
I don't remember a funny moment in this movie.
Oh yeah, there's a couple funny moments, but yeah, it's not certainly not like the focal point. Gene Siskel, remember Gene Siskel? Rest in peace, Gene. Old Gene, dead Gene.
Dead Gene.
Well, it's gonna happen. It's always risky to proclaim a new force in film based upon just one film, but Boyz in the Hood is good enough to suggest that John Singleton is going to be a major player for a long time. I don't know if that happened.
Youngest,
you don't like Too Fast, Too Furious?
youngest director to ever be nominated for Best Director. First black man to be nominated for Best Director.
No shit.
He's passed now, so we have his full filmography, I guess, to choose from.
We do.
But I got to tell you, when I think John Singleton, I think of this movie, and I don't know that I could name another one. Higher Learning, was that him?
Yeah.
Yep, that's the one I was thinking of. Higher Learning.
Shaft.
Shaft remake.
Four Brothers, that was pretty terrible.
I'd have to review that one. I remember seeing that in that film class that I did at Michigan, African Americans in Film. It was a focal point. We watched it.
He did Rosewood. I would like to watch that.
Ooh, Rosewood! That's wow. I haven't seen that in a long time. I must have watched that movie like 50 times, though.
Yeah.
That's a great call. I'll write that down on my list, actually. Good call. I've seen that movie a lot, or I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black Snake Moan, he was a producer on. Sorry, not a director. Never mind. Yeah, it's yeah, I think it speaks for itself. How about I don't know. Stephen Hunter of the Baltimore Sun says it's a terrific movie.
Nice review.
Period. No exclamation point.
Pay that man his money.
That's it? That's the whole review?
Yeah, that truly was it, yeah. How about, here's a dumb name, Cole Smithy. Hi, I'm ColeSmithy.com, a video essay in parentheses. Never seen that before. Boyz in the Hood is more than a time capsule of American existence. It is a boldly defiant and desperate call for peace in the midst of anarchy, says Cole Smithy.
Well, that's at least a review.
That is, absolutely. We have to give him credit for that, do we not?
Thank you, Mr. Smithy.
Mr. Smithy. I was hoping maybe Destin Thompson would pop in on this one. Love to hear from Destin.
Yep.
And we got him! Yay!
All right.
This is great. Yeah. So apparently these 90s movies, Destin, he was reviewing them because we got him last week for Hunt for Red October, and we got him for this one.
Yeah.
So once upon a time in the 90s, Destin said, Singleton adroitly lets the emotions wash over the didacticism. Ooh. His feet place squarely on direct experience and timeliness.
That's verbose for our boy Destin. All right.
It is. Yeah. I'm kind of lost, frankly.
Well, I think he's saying that there's a heavy-handed almost message to this movie, but he's saying that despite the fact that there are some scenes where it's like direct preaching, that overall, like what I think, if I'm interpreting him correctly, I think he's saying that what really leaves the biggest impact is the emotional resonance of the characters.
Oh yeah. So he's saying that took place, but it's placed squarely on direct experience and timeliness. Okay. So it's an appropriate message. Okay. All right. That's cool. And then we got Roger Ebert, who said back in the day when this came out, Boyz in the Hood has maturity and emotional depth. There are no cheap shots. Nothing is thrown in for effect. Realism is placed ahead of easy dramatic payoffs, and the audience grows deeply involved.
It's kind of funny to imagine Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert like sitting in a theater, like with their popcorn and like their pens and paper and like their little vests, sitting down to watch this movie.
And that sax starts creeping in.
Kicks in. Well, what kicks in first is the drive-by, the sound of someone getting driven by.
Oh, right. Yes.
Well,
dramatic music.
Gene's been on the record many times as saying that Staying Alive is one of his top 5 favorite movies. I actually thought about Staying Alive a few times while watching this because that kind of is one of those movies that encapsulates a very specific demographic really well, along with Mean Streets. So, yeah, I could see his love for this for sure. I think it really grabs a hold of a very specific lifestyle really well. I mean, 91, dude. This is all we've seen before, like that even came close to this was what was it? I was reading Colors, and they were complaining it was just about the white cops, and not about these specific individuals. So, yeah, that's why it lit such a fire for like black neo-noir, I think they call it. We got to not say hood movies.
Well, the movie we did the same year already, New Jack City, came out that year. The same year as this. So that's interesting.
Big year for those kinds of movies, I guess. I also thought a lot about another movie as I was watching this. I kept on thinking of Rebel Without a Cause as I watched this. It seems to me like kind of it fits in that same kind of mold of trying to depict what's going on with the youth and like the tragedy of all that. And again you're like dealing with these characters that they're in high school, but it's like what they're dealing with is so much bigger and older than their age. You know, they're like forced into adulthood as children.
And speaking of children, this mother of Ricky and Doughboy, so you get the first snapshot of the kids at 10 years old, and even at 10 years old, she's telling Doughboy what a piece of shit he is because she hates his father. She had a father for two different boys there, so there's this clear bias against the one she hated more, which was Doughboy's father, and the kid's 10 years old. She's telling him, "You're a fucking piece of shit. You're lazy. Get a job." He's 10. It's just awful, man. It's so sad. It really is.
I thought a scene similar to that really stuck out to me. Singleton does this great thing with the audio mixing, where a lot of times you're having the audio from one scene carry over into another scene, like the final drive-by that Doughboy and his boys are going on. You can still hear like the Chinese balls that Lawrence is, that kind of stuff. He's doing that kind of stuff throughout the movie, and sometimes there's stuff happening. Like there's a whole scene that takes place where the mother, Angela Bassett, is talking on the phone to Trey's teacher, and we see the tail end of that. But most of the audio we're getting while we're watching young Trey walk down the sidewalk, and he's like existing in violence. Like everywhere he goes, there's violence. And then what we're hearing is this teacher, this well-meaning teacher, being like, "Is it something at home? Are you unemployed? Is like, what's causing this?" And it's like you're seeing like this is where he is. He lives in this shit.
Yeah,
I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, you're right.
We have that omnipresent chopper always overhead, circling, oppressing, just searching for someone to pluck out of this and punish. It's unreal. And that searchlight is like the fucking eye of Sauron on everybody in this community.
Yep. And this movie's very prescient and bringing things to the table that are now pretty common, I would say. Maybe we're older, but I think it is pretty much universal and common knowledge to a lot of people because of social media and the access to information now. But first off, you have the discussion point where they go and talk about gentrification, which is basically like the example that Destin's talking about in his review. I mean, Lawrence Fishburne talks about gentrification and crack, and that old man's like, "They're slinging that crack rock shit," but he says, "How did it get here? We don't own any boats. We don't own any planes. This is 1991, the movie comes out, so maybe part of it's even filmed in 90, talking about the crack epidemic that had just swept through and still was sweeping through urban areas in the 80s. And John Singleton's telling you right here in the dialogue, like, yeah, we already know the truth, which we have found out very clearly that CIA was involved in bringing crack cocaine into urban areas, and it was right there on film 33 years ago.
It's a flawed scene because on one hand, you're getting this excellent monologue with a bunch of facts just being presented for the viewer, and it's for the viewer, right? But the way that it's shot, it's like they walk up to a billboard, and then just as soon as he turns around and is ready to start his speech, just magically these people just walk up to him like he's Jesus on the fucking mount, and to listen to him talk, and it's really clumsy. I'm sorry, it is.
He's a young filmmaker, I think. Yeah,
it's not great. But in terms of the dialogue and the message that's being expressed, you're right. That is awesome and important. And I guess the reason I single that out is that there's other moments in the film where Furious, Lawrence's character, is able to do other things similarly, just maybe not as long as not as clear as a monologue. and it's a lot more subtle, and it works a lot better in those instances. You know, he just casually says like, you know, like there's no place for a black man in a white man's army and that kind of stuff. He's got these gems throughout the film, but that one scene really feels like it just sucked me right out of the movie. I'm like, okay, so we're being you know, telegraphed to, I guess.
Yeah, my favorite part in terms of the subtlety of his message is when he fucking tells that asshole cop that he doesn't understand what the real problem is.
Yeah.
Or at least he's ignoring it. That's the perfect time to get into that kind of sermonizing in a way through the dialogue that should have been taken advantage of. But yeah, that Sermon on the Mount scene is, I think, one of the few scenes that is really after school special for me. It threatened to topple it in that first half for me. It recovered, but there is some parts that are little PSA.
Just too bad you don't know what it is. Yeah, that's so well done. Lawrence Fishburne. This is prime Fishburne. Should absolutely. This is Academy Award worthy effort on his part as an actor. In my opinion.
Did you do the research and see that fucking Curly, Jack Palance, won that year? Not even nominated. Not even nominated.
No shit.
Curly.
Fucking Curly. I know Travis loves City Slickers. Sorry.
I do, but I don't know that
Curly.
That was so clearly like, hey, we're glad to have you back, Jack Palance. You know, before you die, enjoy this Oscar. We don't really care what movie you were in.
That makes all the sense in the world. I mean? Yeah, he gets Batman, then he gets City Slickers. Okay.
I was like, oh, you're back. You're back. You did two, and like you did Nothing Forever, and then you did two like back to back.
Okay. Curly. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Wow, you just blew my mind, Eric. That's hilarious. Yeah. So we all agree. Obviously, it's a great performance. But
oh my god,
I guess you're right, guys. I get so caught up in this movie, like I'm just so in. I'm just so in with all of it. You're right that upon further review, that scene is kind of poorly done. You're right, and I can't deny that from a filmmaking critical aspect. But also, this is Ice Cube's first. I mean, Ice Cube just gets thrown in the mix here. He wasn't an actor, and I'm curious what you guys thought of his performance.
I think that he's given some of the easier material. Like Cuba is doing some good work here for someone who's really getting started. Some strong emotional range, you know, from a really young actor. Whereas, and that's partly the writing. You know, Doughboy's character is pretty stoic, kind of placid in a way, even though he's like the most violent of them. So he does. I think that the role was written for him, and I think that he plays it note perfect. I do. Can't imagine someone else in the role.
Yeah, I mean, it took some reflection for me because I was watching it and I was looking for a little bit more emoting, maybe. I hate to say just acting, but I was looking for a little more from him. But, you know, upon reflection, I mean, this is a character he has this defeatist attitude because of the way he was brought up. That's why I love the parts when he's yelling at that woman about the fucking kids, because he knows more than anybody about being a product of your environment and the fact that these kids aren't going to have a chance if they're not taken care of. I mean, that's what he's pissed at about probably the most in the film is these kids that are put in danger because his life was fucked because of his upbringing. But there's small moments like the vengeance scene that I love because he portrays such an indifference even after the victory of this revenge. You know what I mean? It'd be so easy for him to just be like, suck on that motherfucker or something, but he just has a look on his face like this hasn't solved anything, and this is just begetting type of violence. It's powerful.
And he's killed 2 weeks later, and it's safe to assume that it's retaliation for that act, for killing those 3
100%. Oh, yeah.
Right.
And it's been mocked, of course, again, with the movies that followed it, and just as a line, where they don't know, they don't show, or just don't give a damn about what's going on in the hood. But if you actually stop and just think about that message, because it wasn't a damn thing on the news, the local news, about his brother Ricky being murdered, which it wasn't covered a lot. It was just, it's another shooting. Black on black crime. Who gives a fuck? And so that's a very truthful message. It's just been the way it was written in the dialogue that it got exploited later on. But the core of that message is pure, true, and still very accurate.
But at the same time, watching the movie, especially the scenes where he's sitting on a porch, I'm like, I keep on thinking of Friday. I just kept thinking of Friday. There's things that happen in the movie that are kind of mirrored in the movie Friday, which also features Nia Long.
Good call.
There's just some things like it's almost like the My Blue Heaven and Goodfellas, a story of Henry Hill. Like there's like two takes on the same kind of idea, one being a comedy, one being straightforward, or one being like more of a drama.
I didn't even think about Friday. It's amazing. That's a very good point. You're right.
Yeah, there's a lot of similar themes in a way in the movies.
Eric, did you think of that at all, or is that crazy?
I've never seen
Friday.
I forgot about that. God,
I thought about the cover box, but I mean, yeah, that's another scene that I think Ice Cube does really well, and he's talking about the invisibility of this plight, and look at nowadays. I mean, oh gosh, I don't want to say too much, but like we just sent $95 billion overseas, and we spent like $9 billion on the homelessness crisis. I mean, do the math. This is what he's trying to configure in his mind, which is says so much about this character. He's resolved, and it makes it more powerful of a movie. Like everything in this seems very real to me. Like it'd be so easy to give even bigger speeches than that. But we're given just breadcrumbs, and we're made to think for ourselves, and we're made to go out and do a little bit of research. It'd be easy for especially a first-time filmmaker to throw everything at the wall and be glamorous and be smart and clever. But he doesn't. He tells this really honestly, and it's amazing that it's his first movie.
Yeah.
And that's the racism impact of people here in the country who need help and aren't getting the help they need. You're right. This has been decades and decades, basically most of the country's history. Spread the empire around, put money out in foreign aid, but who gives a shit about what's going on in our own towns and cities and people who need help? And he doesn't oversell it. He just presents it to you directly. And I think he crushes that aspect of it here. He absolutely still nails it to this day. And it puts you in the time of the early 90s in South Central. It could be Detroit. It could be any urban area. And growing up, I spent every other weekend in Detroit at my dad's house. I'm not some hardcore street wannabe. I was never a gangster, a badass. Violence makes me cry. I'll cry right away. If someone punches me in the face, I'd start crying. Or if I saw someone attack someone right in front of me, I'd be like, why is this happening? But I watched this movie so much then because it really does capture the time and place of those streets, of just the urban houses, these small little bungalow houses next to each other. It reminds me of growing up on Rosemont. It did. And maybe that's why I watch the movie so much all the time. It just reminded me not of my life and their life, just the presentation of the physical setting of the area of it just looked so similar. This is the rundown buildings at times and people, all kinds of people just all over the place. A lot of action, very active. I remember Rosemont being an active place, a lot of people out and about, and it just reminds me of that personally. That's a personal remembrance for me.
I think a credit to your thought process there in terms of the way they create this atmosphere is the boldness of that first chunk. We get like 20 minutes dedicated to seeing where these kids come from. Yeah. And that's not something you see unless you're watching like a 3-hour like Leone epic or something like Once Upon a Time in America. I'll spend a fucking hour and a half on just that. Mm-hmm. But Singleton does all that in 20 minutes. So it's not as easy for us to just say, oh, here we go, South Central LA, go blow each other away and end this. No, we understand the characters because of the nuance and the patience that the script has in that early chunk.
I'm glad you said that because it clarifies my point real quickly with the football, the guys taking the football from them. Mm-hmm. That is just, that's almost universal to any bullies, older guys, younger guys. That could be anywhere almost. But that in particular, them walking around the streets just fucking around all day and then having
the body that body is going to be there. That body, who knows how long has been there, and it's going to be there until, not if a cop comes, but if someone wants to put a Starbucks there. It's just a fact of life.
I thought you were referencing the novella The Body because
there's a few references in there.
Yeah, they're straight up walking down train tracks. Hey, you want to see a dead body? Like, that's not an accident. Yeah. That's a direct reference, I'm sure. Did you guys, speaking of books, did you notice the book that Furious was reading when he was on the couch with the Chinese? He wasn't reading, it was behind his head, but the book that he was currently reading where he's like playing with the Chinese balls, waiting to see if Trey has killed anyone.
Was it Ayn Rand?
It was The Hunt for Red October. Shit, you not.
Well, he's a dad.
Oh shit!
He's a dad. That's right.
Oh my god! That's what a coinky dink. Life is
funny?
fascinating.
Damn it! I was just looking for a reflection of the camera in those ball bearings. I missed that.
Oh, I want to give a shout out for me for first time. More than usual, I guess. I hadn't seen this movie in a while, but I watched it to death for sure in the 90s into the 2000s. But you've got Regina King's in this movie, who is, become a very, very highly acclaimed actress of her own right. Nia Long is the love interest, Brandy, the neighbor of Trey. But Regina King's in there, and they have that exchange at the barbecue when Doughboy's getting out of prison, and they have the exchange about don't call me a bitch or a hoe. There's, tons of misogyny just blatantly. John Singleton doesn't hide that part of it. He comes out and shows it to you, but he also shows you, and I didn't get this as much when I was younger, but you're showing you these are female characters standing up for themselves, and they're not only black, but they're also living in a misogynistic area, which is it's like a double down of the oppression. It's so much worse even. And I really recognize that now that I'm older, and she doesn't play a huge role, but she crushed it in her time on screen. Regina King, good job.
Like she always does. But that seems pretty brutal. And it's one of the things, so I think there's always been the same discussion about this movie and movies similar to it of any genre, but like how much of this is critique, and the movie is a critique, right? It's trying to change people's minds, increase the peace, right? But at the same time, that people like watch the movie and think Doughboy's cool, calling this woman a bitch and a hoe, which sucks. Yeah. But it's real, like you say, it's real, but it still sucks.
I think that's a great point. And like when I think of other films like this, like Menace to Society and Juice and Dead Presidents, I think what they're missing is heart. That's why I love Furious so much, because he doesn't make it easy for us to enjoy the violence. His philosophy is present throughout.
Such as the moment when he's like glad that he missed the home intruder. He's like, I didn't want to kill another black man. Yeah, it's fucking great.
It's so good. And I love his reaction to one of my favorite scenes is at the end when he meets back up with Angela Bassett, and she straight up tells him, look, you're no saint. You're just a father. That's what fathers do. And you're not special just because you take care of your kid. And especially here in 2024, I think there's kind of a myth that black fathers aren't present in children's lives. I think it's really easy to say that. But the stats just say that that's not true. Yeah. And to see a great moral center in the midst of this is, I think it's pretty brave too, because again, the easy thing to do is just show the violence.
I think that a lot of what John Singleton is doing, and he was presumably drawing from his own life, is showing the importance of being raised right in that kind of environment. If you're being raised in an environment where the people that come out of your neighborhood are going to end up on drugs or in jail or dead, or if you're at high risk like that, having solid parenting is going to have a much more impact, and Trey gets that. Even in a divorced family, he gets really solid parenting from both parents.
Right.
Especially
you're right. That's a really good point. Also, did you know the killer of Ricky, unfortunately, real life murder, Lloyd Avery II. So that's
he's a real life murderer.
Yeah, he died in prison, I believe. Yeah, he was Lloyd Avery II died in 2005, and he was a part of some violence, unfortunately.
Was this the kid with the shotgun, or is this the guy that was driving?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The guy who kind of looks like Chris Tucker. I mean, tell me, the guy looks like. I was like, is that when I first saw the movie after I saw Friday? I'm like, oh wait, was this Chris Tucker's first role? But it wasn't. But he was arrested in 2001. Avery was arrested and charged with a double homicide, shooting two random people, for which he was sentenced to life in prison, and then he was murdered. 2005 in prison at the age of 36. So that's a true story. It's a real movie, and that's a real story.
Wow. So I think he missed the message.
Yeah, definitely. But the divorce aspect with Angela Bassett's character, again, I could not get out the Vivica Fox from Don't Be a Menace blowing the leaves off her shoulder when she hugs her son goodbye. Damn. I just can't get that out of my mind. It really pisses me off now. I'm pissed because that's funny. It was funny, but damn you movie. That when she's trying to come up and raise Trey, she says she can't do it no more. She's got stuff she needs to finish and figure out, but she's also being dismissed by the teacher, and all these assumptions are being made about her, and where's the father and all that crap, and she's got to deal with that stuff. And then she's a successful woman doing her thing, and she wants her son back, but the son's grown up now. He's almost becoming a man. It's very difficult. So you got this, as you already explained, Travis, there's some meditation on parenting and the importance of not even a nuclear family, but just an effort to be made, even when circumstances are more challenging, mattering. And I couldn't think of two more appropriate actors to play the roles. Angela Bassett and Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah. I mean, these are icons. These are stoic actors. And there's no way I could imagine anyone else playing those parts. They crushed it. They're so good.
Yeah. Maybe a not great parenting moment, though, is Furious going up to Trey and like sniffing at him and be like, "Get any pussy yet?"
Why not? Yeah, man.
Awkward.
It's awkward, but I mean, if you're gonna trust your father figure, you got to relate to him a little bit. I mean, that's how you stave off rebelliousness.
Yeah. But then he lies to him because he feels ashamed that he's not a man because he's not fucking yet, which is sad. But
yeah,
did that feel a little out of place to you?
That whole sequence. That's like almost a comedy sequence.
Yeah,
and it doesn't actually happen. Like it's a lie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why are we seeing this?
It's fun. I think that, but again, this is a saga. So we got the kids and we've got like the teenage years encapsulated in just that story. So I think it kind of works, but it did kind of knock me off my rocker.
That's why we got Duck Hunt, and staying on the plastic of the couch. That plastic thing is a real thing, man. I've been in that house with the plastic. Stay on the plastic, motherfucker. It's so weird, but that was a thing.
Yeah.
No one grabbed the Lysol after all those dead bodies were on that couch and Trey's bed. No one's grabbing the Lysol. They just let that blood hang out.
Why are you dragging his corpse into the fucking house anyway? Like, hey, everybody, look he's dead.
They're in shock. Come on, it's
dramatic.
I know,
but still, it's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I get not leaving him in the alley, but still, I don't know. It's just a weird moment.
I gotta be honest with you, man. I never was much of a Cuba Gooding Jr. fan. He just kind of always said the lines for me in all the other movies that I've seen him in. He blew me away. He fucking had me in tears. This is fucking great performance.
Wow.
I think there's some. I mean, like this is his first major performance, and like the swinging at nothing scene. I'm kind of like, okay, here, but
come on.
Well, that's been parenting too. God damn it! Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah, it has. But
what?
It's like the single tear when the cop has his gun to his neck, or the way that like the look on his face when he like adamantly is like, let me out of the car. There's
dude.
He's really got some great performances in here. He really truly does.
I'm telling you, man, that might have been my favorite part is when he was swinging, because I've only seen that kind of thing done once in Rocky, when Rocky eventually breaks and he just starts pounding the wall, not because of the specific situation, but because he hates his life so much and his status in the world. And when Trey does that here, he's doing so much just in those physical actions. He hates his situation. You hear those choppers overhead. There's literally a searchlight on him from outside when he's talking about how he can't get out of it, man. And it's heartbreaking for me, man. I don't know what to say.
No, it is. He did a great job. I'll give him credit for that. I mean, we're analyzing the performance here, and the things he's done in his life to women are not acceptable whatsoever. So we can't change that. He's a piece of shit. I don't know. Seems like he may be. I'm just going to throw that aside because we're talking about the movie. I don't want it to. The other people did this movie. One of the things about that stuff is when all these other people are involved in this film. So I don't want it to ruin a film that hundreds of other people worked on. Yeah. But can't forget about it either. At the same time, Ricky as a character, I think, is actually quite impressive because there's this assumption that if you're living on the streets and living it every day, that you're street smart. And he is not. He is a fool. He doesn't get it. He's a happy-go-lucky, all he cares about is football type guy who his doughboy's always giving him shit like, you're stupid, man. He's always on his case about that. And sadly, he's the one who gets shot and is killed. Obviously, Doughboy dies a couple weeks later, but I just thought it's still a very accurate portrayal of not everybody gets it. Not everybody's built for that life just because they live in it. They don't just all adapt, right? And I think that's a character that's going to stand the test of time, despite the way it ended for him.
I think something that we're, to go back to Cuba, there's something that we're leaving out here, and that is the utterly iconic shirt that he's wearing behind you. The orange with the black circle on it and the black sleeves. I mean, that is a bold choice.
1991, baby. Where you do those dances and the crisscross.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like
you
that
wear a backwards
and
jersey.
That and Seinfeld's puffy shirt are like the two most iconic shirts of the era.
Yeah, I felt like going to the merry-go-round at Brighton Mall and getting some cross colors.
Yeah, he's Mr. GQ Smooth, man. Jet Magazine.
He goes over by the tree and tries to play it cool, and she fucking walks away.
Yeah, she's gone, man. Nice job.
Mike, are you going to stop for a piss break if you're getting hunted down by a car full of murderers?
That's a...
He thinks he's invincible, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, they're so used to that kind of shit, maybe? I don't know.
These guys, yeah, they're young. That's the other thing. We got to remember, maybe some of these guys are early 20s, maybe?
The actors are all supposed to be, so the actors were all 20 to 22. But I looked, and the characters are all supposed to be, literally all of them are supposed to be 17.
Yeah.
Oh, even younger. Okay, see? Yeah.
And they act like kids. That's what I love about it. They're always pretending to be hard, just like Furious accuses them of. And they nail it perfectly, that adolescence.
Oh my God! I'm so glad you brought that up. I used to have these arguments about being hard. I'm not kidding. It was so weird. Yes. When I would go to my dad's, my nephew, who was a step nephew, so it's not a blood nephew, but somehow he's 2 years younger than me. It makes no sense. And he lived there all the time, so I would see him every the weekend, and he would connect us with all his friends, and we would do stuff. And I was like, why are you trying to be so hard all the time? And he was like, you're a pussy. I'm like, I don't want to be hard. I want to be who I am. I remember having those discussions. That is such a 90s thing to me, at least in my experience. You got to be hard, man. You got to be hard on these streets. You got to be tough. It's like, man, that is so sad.
We never really needed a defense mechanism in Heartland.
Yes, exactly. Heartland,
well, no,
I would never had that issue.
Not there, yeah, of course. But when you go to a party and, everyone's got to be like, hey, yeah. It's just very strange, but it is a dynamic of immaturity and youth too. We're talking about youngsters, but you're talking about people who have to show that they're hard so that they don't become targets to be exploited by the neighborhood they live in. In this situation, I mean, we didn't even mention the baby on the street. Woman is addicted to crack and keep your baby and I'll suck your dick. That's all been exploited again. Another parody point. But that stuff was not that exaggerated, I guess, right? I mean, that seemed pretty realistic to me.
How much backwash were in those 40s of St. Ides?
Also, this is 1991, so AIDS. Big discussion about HIV and AIDS at the table there.
Yeah, they do a good job with that. So that's how they message pretty well in this movie. Like, he's clearly Singleton's trying to direct something to his audience. Like, hey, you should know. Oral sex, you can get HIV and all this other kind of stuff. And that's not, you're not getting beaten about the head with it. That scene's done really well.
Yeah, you get the guy sucking on the pacifier, doesn't think you get AIDS from a blowjob.
Fuck is what? Why is this guy sucking on a fucking pacifier? This is how you look hard?
Yeah.
You said it, man.
Baffling.
If you think about it, as far as drive-bys are concerned, these are the most innocent looking people. We got a dude in a wheelchair, a kid sucking on a pacifier. Leave him the fuck alone.
Do you know he was really paralyzed by gun violence in real life? That guy.
I heard that. Plus, I heard that the guy that has the pacifier got smoked in real life too.
Oh, really?
Oh. Yeah, that's what I heard. Listen. We haven't even brought up the fact that this takes place 9 months before the Rodney King riots. Where are these characters and when this goes down?
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, they're obviously. Well, Doughboy's dead. A lot of them are dead, and then Trey went to college.
Georgia.
Yeah,
yeah, we know where they're at. Trey and his girlfriend are in Georgia.
Could have used one more of those cheesy title cards, and then they died.
Have
Cheesy
one more
title
That didn't work.
cards.
That did not work for me at all. I don't like it when they do that. I don't like it in American Graffiti. It barely works in Stand By Me. I never care for it. Also, this. Just in case you're wondering, this is what happened.
It worked in Stand By Me, but you're right. To have like a character walking away and then he disappears and the title card says he died off screen.
Well, I think the thing is, anytime it's a fictional character and they're like, this is what happened to him. He went off to college. Come on. It's not real.
Yeah, that's like the Animal House thing. They do a story. Yeah. You either like that type of shit or you don't. I don't really think there's a lot of middle ground. And I don't always say that either. But I could care less if they hadn't done that. If they just ended the movie and like he just walked into his house.
For sure.
Yeah, we already know that that Doughboy is like doomed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
He was
that
always
conversation, right? He was always doomed, and he's accepted it. That conversation that he has, like he's like, someone might try and smoke me. It's cool. He's like, it doesn't matter though. This is just what happens. This is just life. And if they had left it there, we would get it. We would understand.
Yeah.
Doughboy is not long for this world. Yeah, I think so too.
And also,
Probably that's what Singleton wanted to do, and producers came in and were like, no one's gonna know.
I know it must have. Imagine how brutal it was for him. This guy's a young black filmmaker. Like they didn't want him to do it, right? It's like they want to bring in somebody else. It's his script. No, he fought for it. This one thing I know about John Singleton, I'm pretty confident, is he was a guy, whether you liked him or not, he said what he meant and he stood by it. And maybe that hurt him, maybe it didn't, but he got this movie made, and that's a groundbreaking moment for mainstream filmmaking in the United States. So got to give him all the respect of the world, even though he's gone.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is a important movie.
Cheers to this studio for taking this on, but I'm sorry, cheers to Stanley Clarke. I mean, I get it. This guy's a big name in jazz fusion, but this score, not even just that, but like, I don't know, dude.
Sounds like Lethal Weapon soundtrack.
It really does. It's borderline. What's
Sounds
that
like
guy always
always
make fun of?
Philadelphia doing Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, Spike Lee's guy. We always, I think we even coined an adjective.
Oh, Terrence Blanchard?
Blanchard did it. Yeah, Blanchard did this one.
That's bullshit. The sax is goofy. I get that, but I actually like the theme, the Boyz n the Hood theme. It's actually very synthy. I like it, so I do.
Okay.
I don't think it's as bad as Blanchard at all, man. I just can't do that.
Believe me, multiple times throughout the movie, I thought, well, this is a really dramatic score that's that's overwrought, but it's not Blanchard.
There you go. Thank you.
Is there any filmmaker we've bashed on this show more than Terrence
Blanchard and child actors?
Well, all right. We'll wrap this puppy up. Boyz n the Hood, 1991. John Singleton. We talked about it. Fairly good detail. I mean, this movie is the time period. It is that place. There may be decisions made from a filmmaking perspective that you don't like, but there's no way you could watch this movie and be like, this rings false to me. No, that's just not gonna happen. And it reminds me so much of the time period. This is one of my favorite things about movies that draws me in. It's not just nostalgia either, which is part of this, sure, but it's that you can be transported back to a time that is no longer in front of you and see it, visual images, audio images, and it's like, oh wow, this, when it's done right like this, properly representative, this is what it's all about. This is when people say like, why do you love movies and mainstream movies are so lame, let's get into the more kitschy, artsy stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I get that too. But when it's done right, it keeps you coming back. There's so many that are not done right, that are not done properly. I know that. That's what this show's about most of the time. But this movie, in all the phases, I don't really have any big complaints about it. I love this film. I love that what it stands for. It's a big moment in the history for Black America to get this movie made and out there, and it gave way to a whole new world of filmmaking in the 90s. A huge wave of Black filmmakers getting their chance because of this movie, and that right there alone is so huge and so crucial. And not just like comedies or the 70s are a great era for Black filmmaking from certain perspectives, but this is like taking it to another level and really raising awareness about honest to goodness shit. It's just unfortunate that by 1997 we got Leprechaun 3, Lep in the Hood, Up to No Good, or that's
Back to the hood.
Yeah, back to it's.
A friend
So that's
with
where we
weed
ended
is
up.
a friend indeed, but a friend with gold is better, I'm told.
Is that John Singleton?
That is. That is funny. I know that is funny, but it's just kind of that's where we ended up at the end of the decade. It kind of like all went in.
Yeah.
That's what it does, right? The thing eats itself. That's what happens in the culture most of the time in the United States. But I love this movie. It holds up, and I always will.
Yeah, I mean, then again, flattery is the, what do they call it, most sincere form of appreciation. Yeah, and I love, how you talk about this being not just a time capsule. Because I'll watch this and I'll see like the hazy streets with trash all over the place, and that's it. I mean, that is this time period exactly. But I also love the message here, and there's some cheesy parts, but the message has not wavered, man. And it's something that people should take a look at before they go out and try to replace culture with commerce. I mean, gentrification has its pros and cons. I want people to have fresh food at their markets, but I also want that little market to exist. So it's an ongoing battle. So it puts a lot of stuff into my head where I want to go make a difference. I want to try to get the income to system rates lowered and do things that matter instead of crush people or sweep stuff under the rug. I mean, it's the best kind of message movie, man. And it's also great entertainment. That's why that reviewer calls it didactic. I mean, it's a perfect adjective here. And that the fact that this guy's 23 is mind-blowing to me, because it would have been so easy to have really cool shots and stuff. Even like when the kid throws a football, I'm picturing like Spike Lee get like football cam or some bullshit. He keeps it real. And it makes you invest in the story that much more because this life is so palpable. Awesome movie, dude. It's fucking off the charts. Larry Fishburne. Give him we should start a new category. We fucked up Oscar and give it immediately the first one to Larry Fishburne for this, man. Love this movie. Holds up completely.
I will, before you go, Travis, too, I will say maybe I overstated not giving Do the Right Thing more credit as a movie that helped get these movies made, too. So I just want to say that because that thought popped in my head now. I understand I mistook that. That was my bad.
No, yeah, that's a good point. And you already mentioned New Jack City. There's something that was kind of happening around this time generally. But this movie, as you just said, Eric, is an important message movie in a way that resonated throughout the decades, man. This is in the National Film Registry for a reason. This is something that has great cultural relevance, I think, which, again, that was partly why I think I was thinking of the movie Rebel Without a Cause, because this is something that it seems like for a lot of people serve that same kind of role as being like a touchstone to their youth. Maybe not us, we're three white guys from the suburbs, but I do feel like this is a pretty important and still relevant film. It's not flawless. It does have its moments that are evident that you're dealing with a first-time filmmaker, but at the same time, the steady hand and confidence that Singleton brings to this movie making, it's a shame that he didn't get maybe I don't know. I need to watch more of his movies because I haven't seen them all. I haven't seen Rosewood and I haven't seen Poetic Justice, for instance. But it seems like he was a stronger director than the opportunities that were afforded to him. So, it holds up. It holds up.
Forgot about Poetic Justice. Yeah, that's a good call. All right, well, there it is. Boys in the Hood in the can. cinema9pod@gmail.com. 5 stars, yada, yada, yada. Subscribe to the YouTube. And we return back to the top of the board here. And Travis, you are in control.
So this movie that we watched, Boys in the Hood, was on Netflix. And the movie that I'm going to have us watch is also on Netflix, which is amazing because sometimes Netflix shows movies. It's not just their own fucking content all the time.
Oh.
That's nice, right?
Yeah.
That is nice.
I'm going to keep us in the 90s. There's this thing that we've done on this show, I think all of us, but maybe I should just speak for myself, in that when it comes to choosing movies that we want to do, a lot of times I think we consciously avoid the obvious choices sometimes. Right? Maybe because we think one of the other guys, they'll pick it. It'll be on eventually. We'll get to it. Or maybe we think we know it's good, but maybe, I don't know. But I want to pick a movie that I think that has probably been on all three of our lists for a long time.
Oh.
I think it's a movie that we probably know to be a good movie, but we also know that there's some stuff in it that we're going to find extremely problematic here in the year 2024. I'm talking about going back to 1994, Leon the Professional.
Oh. Okay.
It's time. Let's do it.
It's time.
All right, Harlow's ready.
Whoa, Jesus, what the hell was that? Okay, yeah, this is it's been on my list since 2020.
Yeah, me too.
Wow. 2020, really?
Yeah. I made a list, and this is one of the earlier films I've considered, but I always just kept on passing it over. We'll get to it. Well, let's everyone do it.
I think I've seen this movie just once. So.
Oh, okay.
I only saw it like 7 years ago. So.
Really?
Yeah. I've heard about it, of course, but yeah. Okay. I wasn't, I couldn't be a part of the original Leon boom, the professional boom. So, but I'm looking forward to this.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Next
week.
We'll get
together next Saturday, presumably.
Nice little Saturday. Next Saturday. It'll be May, a whole new month. So we'll see you then. That's Eric. That's Travis. I'm Mike. And we appreciate your time and energy. Thank you very much. Richie! Ricky!
Oh, come on.